Peace. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay every day. And the topic of this post is going to be called First Me, Then You. And what I want to talk about is this narrative that's put out by the mainstream media and by these effete men and the dominant society that everything that's happening is only happening to black people, whether it's shooting, housing discrimination, the prison population, and all of these things. People for a long time have contributed a lot of things that are wrong with society as being the fault of the white man or white people in general. And while there is a bit of racism involved in it, it's also a bit of a mind fuck. Let me break it down. In a civilized society, there are laws and rules put in place for the protection and the continuance of that society. When these basic laws and rules and customs are eradicated, you descend into dictatorships, despotism, and just an erosion of your civil liberties. I don't like to say civil rights, I say liberties. Because what you see is the envelope being pushed again and again. And if you think that this country is cut up in terms of Democrat and Republican, Democrat versus Republican, or liberals versus conservatives, that's a mind fuck also. This country is predominantly ran by the 1%. When I say the 1%, I mean the richest 1% of the population. Not individual wealth, but corporations. These corporations are about control. Nothing else. The mind fuck occurs when they can have, it's a pyramid system. So the 1% is at the top. Then you have the law and the military that are controlled by the government, which is under the 1%. So when you see all of these people who've been in the government for years and years, your Paul Ryans and these other congressmen, they're not getting out of the government by coincidence or because they think they're going to lose elections and all of that. That's another mind fuck. They're getting out of elections because they've done everything they've needed to do to cash in. Some of these guys have been in the government for 10 and 15 years, only making $140,000. And realistically, that's not any money. See, these gentlemen are used to, not used to, but they want to have a certain lifestyle. They want to pay off their houses, they want to pay off their debt, and they feel like it's time to cash in. If you've been in the government and been a public servant and you've been an elected official, and you've been an elected official for more than 15 years, you've done enough favors, you've built up enough capital to where you can cash it in. So where Paul Ryan may have been making $200,000 or a little bit more than that to be Speaker of the House, he can go from making $200,000 to making $2 or $3 million a year. Because you have to understand something. These people are very prudent with their money. There's a reason that a lot of people go into Congress and come out rich. So what he's doing, and a lot of these other politicians are, they're setting themselves up for the future. They've done all they feel that they can do within the government, and I don't really think none of them want to run for either higher political office because there's no money in it. And just so that you think that, this is all just, you're just talking about conservatives, liberals do the same thing. The Clintons didn't have no money when they got into politics and government, but once they got out, all of a sudden, Bill and Hillary are multi-millionaires. Watch. The same thing with Barack and Michelle Obama. They're going to be multi-millionaires when they're finished with it. And understand something. I'm not a socialist or have any problem with capitalism or somebody making money. But you make money when you create something. If I give you $100,000 and you invest it for me and you give me back $500,000 or $5 million, of course you deserve a $600,000 payout for that. But see, you have a bunch of people out here who don't create, who don't build anything, and they always feed you that line like, I'm for the small businessman, when they don't give a shit about the small businessman. This society is about to fuck over the middle class and the poor in a way that hasn't been seen in years. So when I say first me, then you, they're going to fuck over the poor first, then they're going to fuck over the middle class. They're constantly eroding your rights. They're constantly changing what a contract is and what contract law means. And there isn't going to be shit you can do about it. The courts are being staffed. The appellate courts are being staffed. The Supreme Courts are all being staffed with people to uphold these positions. Keep thinking that it's about black and white. You keep on believing that mind fuck. Yeah, you have some people out here that are just savages and continue to think in terms of black and white and the white person is the devil and all of this other bullshit while you're getting fucked over. Because see, the great trick when fucking someone over is to tell them that you're not while you're doing it. Or, that's not going to apply to me. They're just fucking over black people. We're just going to stop giving people financial aid to go to college. We're just going to start telling people that college is a myth and all of this other shit. Or it's not worth it to go to college. Yeah, and I'm going to do a post about that too, because that's some bullshit too. But getting back to this first me then you thing. Like I said, the erosion of your civil liberties, the erosion of contract law, the end of attorney-client privilege, the end of the right to self-incrimination, the right to a speedy trial, the erosion of all of these things, it's happening on a day-to-day basis. And see, the framework, they want to keep you mind-fucked by thinking, Donald Trump is this, and Donald Trump is this, and Donald Trump is this. Let me explain something to you about President Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump doesn't give a shit about anything that's happening in the world. Donald Trump probably has $1.5 billion worth of debt. But see, Donald Trump doesn't create or make anything. Donald Trump is trying to get rid of that debt and secure his future and his children's future before he dies. You gotta remember something. Donald Trump is 70 some odd fucking years old. He may have 10 years left, he may have 15 years left. But he isn't going to be in his 80s fucking around with some debt that he's had for the last 20 years. Everything that the president is doing is to position and to get rid of his fucking debt. And to be perfectly honest, I don't blame him. If you motherfuckers vote for him and you let him get into office, what do you think a businessman is going to do? Any businessman in a position of power, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to try and enrich himself. And if you elect somebody whose primary focus is making money, why are they going to stop making money? Who says that you have to do that? That's why when I hear these fucking beta males on TV and everybody else talking all of this shit about Donald Trump and all of this, I'm like, nah, don't talk greasy about him now, because see, you were friends with him and you loved his shtick. And you had him on his shows when he just a loudmouth from New York. Oh, Trump don't do this, and oh, Trump don't do this. Well, see, Trump fucked y'all all up when he ran and won. So all the outrageous shit he's been saying, all the outrageous shit he's been doing, he's been on this shit for years. So don't have a fucking attitude with him now. Nah. And I'm not a Trump supporter. But don't piss on my leg and tell me that it's raining. Getting back to the first me then you topic, however, I digress. The final part of whatever this grand plan that's been put in place by the framework, you haven't seen the end of it yet. This shit about being convicted based on an accusation. This shit about, well, here, we can't make you go to prison, but we're not going to allow you to make a living based on an accusation, whether it's 20, 30, or 40 years old. This shit isn't done either. That's a part of this first me, then you shit too. I see a lot of people think, oh, they're the me, you, the me too, and the time's up moving out here, lynching black men. Nope. These beta males, suckers and simps, and just effete men that are going along with a lot of these accusations. You'll see. They'll be coming for them next. This is just the first wave. But now it's going to become a regular occurrence. Without proof, without any, charges being filed against a person, this shit is going to continue. And it's going to continue for a while. So with that being said, I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to keep it short. Talking about this first me, then you. It's an ongoing process. It's not meant to be stopped. It's coming in waves. First, I'm going to fuck over this minority group. Then I'm going to fuck over the majority. I'm going to erase constitutional norms for this group. Then I'm going to apply that shit to everybody else. Because one thing you have to remember, even the president is getting fucked over on his contracts. And see, here's the thing that nobody talks about. It doesn't matter whether or not a contract is fucked up or not. if you sign a contract, you agree to the fucking terms. You can't go back and change the terms after you sign it. Where does that happen at? When I sign for a credit card, I can't go back and change the terms because I don't like the interest rate or something no more. Motherfucker put it right there in the contract, in the terms and agreements and conditions. If I'm telling you that I'm going to charge you 23% interest on this credit card and you sign for that credit card, guess what? You have to take that 23% interest rate. But yo, that's it. That's all I have to say about these issues. I'm not going to keep talking about how you're getting fucked over. If you can't see it, and you can't see the progression of this erosion of your civil liberties and constitutional rights, then it's on you. And that's it. I'm gone.